everyone, this is Miss Anna from the Eldersburg Library, and I'm here with another craft kit video for you guys. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm the only one in here. Otherwise, I'll be wearing it. And today we're going to be making a coffee filter and clothespin turkey using chromatography. And I will insert a bit of information to explain that in a bit. I was about to say here, but I'm going to do like the material intro first. But I will show you guys what that is. And to start out your craft, you're going to need a clothespin, a coffee filter, some Google Eyes. I just have mine in my coffee filter so I don't lose them. And you'll need some construction paper or cardstock in multiple colors. I'm using red, yellow, and black for mine. And if you're doing this at home, you don't have the craft kit, you can use whatever colors you want. I'm going to be putting these colors in the craft kit. And you'll need, as for stuff that's not in the craft kit, you'll need some markers, and you'll need some glue. You can use a hot glue gun or just squeeze bottle glue. A glue stick's probably not going to work that well. And I think that's it in terms of materials. So to start off, we're going to take our coffee filter, and I think I accidentally picked up two. Yes, I did. One moment. Alright, we're going to start by taking our coffee filter and find a piece of cardboard or something to draw on. Flatten out your coffee filter like this. Then you're going to find some colors that you want to use. I decided that I'm going to make mine red, yellow, orange, and brown because I think those are fun fall colors. And this is going to be the tail of your turkey. This is what we're going to do our cool stem trick with. So you can do any pattern you'd like. I'm going to start with the brown. And I'm just going to do like a cool little tie-dye thing. I like to do a trick where you fold the coffee filter in half and then fold it in half again. And now you have an idea of where the center is. So I'm going to go around and do little stripes like this. And then grab another color and do the same thing. And just keep going around like that. But you can do whatever you like. You can do stripes or dots. It's all going to blend together, so it's whatever cool pattern you want to try. And I'll get back to you once my coffee filter is colored in. So for this next step, I have migrated over to the floor because you do need a flat surface. But I have finished coloring in my coffee filter. I think those are some fun fall colors. And I'm going to tilt my camera down so you can see. But you're going to grab a spray bottle full of water. I promise my water is not cruddy. I think the water bottle is just a little discolored. This is fresh water, but it looks kind of cruddy, so I just wanted to specify. And this is where we're going to do some cool chromatography with something called Capillary Action. And I will insert a PowerPoint slide about that now. So what we're going to be seeing here is a scientific process called capillary action, which is a process where a liquid, such as the water in our spray bottle that we're going to use, moves up something solid, such as the coffee filters we're using to make our flowers. And the first thing that happens in this process is called cohesion, which is when molecules of the same substance, such as water, stick together. In the beginning of our process, the water molecules are all stuck together to one another in the bottle. The next step of the process is called adhesion, which is when molecules stick to a solid substance, or, in other words, when molecules of one type stick to something of another type, such as a liquid and a solid. In our case, the water molecules are going to stick to the coffee filter when we spray them on. And because water molecules stick together, and when water adheres to something, it tends to move upwards. When the first water molecule sticks to the, I used a quote here that mentions a tube, but we're going to say a coffee filter. It pulls the next water molecule up with it, and so on. So when the water molecules stick to the coffee filter and start moving upwards, they drag the other water molecules along with them, causing it to bleed through the coffee filter. And since we'll be using marker, it'll spread the ink as it dissolves the ink of the washable markers. And you can learn more at the link provided in this slide. If you want to type it into your computer, they'll explain it much better than I did, and that's where that quote comes from as well. Okay, now that future me is done with the PowerPoint slide, I'm going to tilt my camera down so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to put this on my spraying so you can see I've done this craft many times before on this cardboard. I'm going to just lay my coffee filter down the cardboard. You can do this outside. You can do it on a piece of cardboard like I'm doing, or on a tablecloth. Just don't do it on your table. And watch your clothes because the marker's going to run a little bit. And I'm going to spray that a few times with my spray bottle. And check that out. You can already see that water taking capillary action and spreading through the coffee filter. You can see it really well up here. You can see how it just keeps moving even though I haven't sprayed any more on there. And you can see how those water droplets are adhering to one another and cohering as well. And you can see how they move as they work to adhere to one another. I'm not explaining this very well. Hopefully I'll explain it better in the earlier part with the PowerPoint slide. And I'm going to move that around a little bit. I'm going to pick it up. See, you can already see how it's starting to all blend together. And that's what we want to see here. I think I might need another spritz. So I'm going to do another spritz right in the center. And check that out. Look at how it moves up. You can kind of see it going here in this little orange part. I think if I move my coffee filter around so that more of it is in the wet, but it's very hard to see on camera, but you can kind of see how those droplets are adhering to one another and moving up the filter. And once again, this will be explained a lot better, hopefully, in the PowerPoint slide I just shared. I'm going to give that another spritz on the other side, because I want that whole thing to be all blended together. So I'm going to do a few more around the edges and one in that middle part that wasn't blending. And you don't want to do too much of it because it'll wash away your marker. So you don't want to go absolutely crazy, like you don't want to soak it. And sometimes you can just move it through the puddles. Like I'm going to take this empty spot here and just tap it into a puddle. And it will get your hands all markery. Let this be a warning. Alright, I'm going to do a couple touch-ups and I'm going to leave that sit to dry while we do the rest of the craft. So while that dries, we're going to move on to our next step, which is to color in our clothespin. And I recommend using a Sharpie marker or a paint pen for this. If you want it to stand out more, you can also just use a washable marker. I'm just going to use brown. This is going to be the body of your turkey, and it's going to clip onto your coffee filter like that. So I'm just going to take my brown marker, and I need something to put it on top of. I need some scrap paper. Here's some scrap paper from when I made buttons. And I'm just going to color that in with my marker. And you can use whatever color you like. It doesn't have to be brown. I'm just using brown because I'm just making like your standard default turkey. And I can't imagine it's too fun to sit here watching me color in a clothespin, so I will get back to you. Okay, so I've got my clothespin all colored in. And my next step is going to be to cut out a few pieces. So I'm going to go grab my cardstock from off camera. And I'm going to need a beak. I'm going to need the little gobble thing that turkeys have. And you can also make some decorations. I'm going to do a little top hat just because I think it would be cute. So I'm going to reach by and get my scissors from somewhere. Here they are. This is why having everything set up beforehand is important. And I'm going to cut out a little square of my yellow cardstock. Yours should already come to you in little strips. And I'm going to put this down so you can see. I'm going to take a pencil, and mine happens to have this cool Halloween optical illusion that I don't think you can see on it, but I figure it's polished, and also the only pencil around. I'm going to trace the outline of my colored pencil so I know how big it is. And this is going to be the top of your turkey, the part that you squeeze. So I want to make a beak that's about that big. So I'm going to go make a triangle. Let's give or take about like that. You can just guesstimate. And I'm going to cut that out. that would go about right there. I'm not quite ready to glue yet because my hot glue gun is still heating up. But that would go about there. And then I'm going to grab a reference for the little gobble part. What I did, I don't know if you'll be able to see, is I looked up coffee filter turkeys. And I set up the beak and traced around it to make that shape. And now I'm just going to cut that out. And I'm actually going to do something where I line it up. I'm going to trace out the beak shape too on there. And I'm going to cut that all out as one piece. I'm using a very small pair of scissors because I think it's a little easier to control. But you can use whatever size you want. And now, when I lay those one on top of the other, I have a guide for my beak, and I have the beak itself. And that'll look a lot better once I've glued it. And I also want to make a little hat for my turkey. So I'm going to take a little piece of the black. I'm going to do the same thing where I set down my clothespin and trace myself a guide. And this time I want it a little wider than the clothespin, so I'm going to draw a hat brim. And the little top hat itself. And I'm going to cut that out. And you can decorate your turkey however you like. You can get any kind of hat. You can make it multicolored. It's any sort of option you could possibly want. I just think mine would look cute in a little top hat. And that would go up here at the very top. Alright, and next up, I'm going to get out my hot glue gun and we're going to glue all this together. So you'll notice that I'm wearing a different outfit at this part, and that's because I went and made my whole craft upside down. You're actually supposed to have the clippy part up top, so I'm going to do a few steps again, and I'll show you what to do if you make it upside down like I did, because it's pretty easy to do. So I grabbed a hot glue gun, and I'm going to grab my clothespin. I'm going to take this down so you can see what I'm doing. And line it up on your cardboard. And you can use any kind of surface to hot glue on, just please don't hot glue right on your table. But have it so the clippy part is up and the part that you squeeze is down towards you. Then line up all of the pieces you cut out. So I cut out a little hat for mine. So I'm going to put that at the top. And that way I'll know where I want to put the eyes. We're going to start with the eyes. So I want my eyes to fall about right here. Oops. I'm going to start at the top with the hat. So I'm going to take a tiny dot of glue, just a tiny amount, and put it right on my clothespin. It's a little more than I wanted, but that's okay. And I'm going to use a pair of tweezers. But if you don't have them at home, just be very careful. And I'm just going to press that down in place, being very, very careful of my glue, because my glue is hot. And now you see I have a little hat on my clothespin. I just think that would be cute, a little top hat. And then I'm going to grab the eyes. And the thing about the Google eyes is I didn't want to give you ones that were like teeny, because I figured they'd get lost really easy. But they are going to overlap off the side of your popsicle stick a little bit. They'll look like that. But that's okay. That's what you want to see. So again, I'm going to grab my tweezers. And I'm going to put a dot of glue right on this side of my popsicle stick, clothespin. Just a little dot. And again, I like using tweezers because you don't have to touch the dot of glue. I'm going to just maneuver that eye into place and tap it down. Be very, very careful of the hot glue. Again, if you don't have tweezers, you just got to be careful. And it looks like that. And we're going to do the same thing with the other eye. I'm going to do a little dot of glue. Give that another little dot. Then grab the Google eye. And I'm just going to do this by hand. Just maneuver that into place. And stick it down. And your stick will look like this now, with two kind of overlapping Google eyes. And it's okay if they hang off the side of the popsicle stick. I don't know why I keep saying popsicle stick. Clothespin. I use popsicle sticks most of the time, I think. But now your clothespin will look like this. So for next, we're going to put the beak and the little gobble thing on. And you'll remember we cut out this red piece, and we made sure we had a triangle there. And I'm going to line up the top of that triangle about where you'll see the metal part of the clothespin. There's a little part for that. I'm going to line that up about there so it covers it up. I'm going to take just a dot of glue and put a little bit on that middle part and use the nozzle of the glue gun to spread it around a little. And so carefully, I'm going to just set that on top and scoot it to where I want it to go. Make sure I can still open my clothespin. So it'll look something like that. Then I'm going to take my yellow beak piece. Looks like this. And you'll notice I kind of had a wide part of the triangle and two shorter parts. I'm going to line the wide part up with my red triangle and glue it down so it looks like that. So I'm just going to take a tiny, tiny dot of glue this time. That should be plenty enough. And this is where I'm going to use my tweezers because that's a little close. And I'm going to just set that down and then push it in where I want it to go and line it up with that red triangle as a guide. And that's what it'll look like. You'll have a turkey face. You can have a clip that still opens. And we're going to let that dry for a second so I can like pick off all the little strings. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with our coffee filter. So now that you've got your turkey all decorated, you're going to go and get your dried out coffee filter. This is what mine looks like now it's dried. I think that looks super cool. I really like how this one turned out. And remember, you can do any pattern you want. It'll all blend together really well. But you're going to want to fold that in half so it looks like this. And then go on the table and give it a good crease. So you'll have something that looks like this. And then you're just going to take your turkey and pick a side of your coffee filter that you want to be the front. And just open your clothespin and stick the coffee filter in the clothespin. And now you have a tail for your turkey. And that's what it looks like. I think that is super cute. Check that out. That is really cute. Kind of looks like a fan. And I think that this could look really cute like sitting on your table or on a mantle. I think it's a really neat decoration. You can even try and get it to stand up by itself. I think that's pretty adorable. And that's how you make your coffee filter chromatography turkey. If you do end up making your turkey this way, upside down, so that the clippy part's at the bottom, I have a second coffee filter here. And all you really need to do is put a little line of hot glue on the back of your clothespin. Like this. And then set it down right on top of your coffee filter. And now it's attached. So that's more permanently attached than the other way. And I'm realizing now mine's a tad lopsided, but that's okay. But you can still have it stand up on its own, still set it up somewhere as a decoration, and this way it can clip to things. And I think that's fun. You could clip it to any kind of decoration you want it, use it as like a napkin holder. I think that's a really fun way to do it too. So that's 2 ways that you can make a coffee filter chromatography turkey. Please feel free to post pictures of your turkeys in the Facebook post for this video. I will keep an eye on them. I love to see your guys' projects. And I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Even though I think that's a week away or so at this point, I gotta check when this program actually is. It's the end of October when I'm filming this. That's the Halloween necklace. But please feel free to share your craft. I hope you have a really fun time making it. And everybody have a great day. Bye.